Good morning, guys. Well, actually, it's moving into the afternoon. We've got some fertilizer spread on some corn on corn ground, and I get to take the new 580 out. I've got very little to no use or hours in it besides setting it and almost burying it the other night. You remember when that happened. But we're going to be taking the Salford 4200 out there and seeing what this thing can do and trying to get ahead of Dad right there. The diggers are working on some bean ground or getting in front of Brody. So I'm going to try to get some work done for Dad. And he's going to fill in some wet spots. We got 2 more fields of corn to do, plus then just wet spots that will have to trickle on as they get ready. Let's get on our way. Before we get out to the field, guys, I'm just going to show you what this thing's going to be doing. We got 5-inch spacing on all the blades, including the concave and then the wavy disc here. So 5-inch spacing. Front ranks are contoured, throwing at each other basically. Then it's all wavy blades to explode the dirt. And then we were going into a drag, and then my favorite part, the hydraulic baskets. So if it's too wet or muddy out there, which it won't be, if you do get into that scenario where it's muddy and these are gonna plug up, you just pull the hydraulic lever and they fold up out of the way. So I'm excited to see. We have 2 neighbors actually that use these for fall and spring. So we did all of our soybean ground last fall with this. I'm very satisfied with how it's working up. I am curious to see how she does in the spring, more than what I was doing the other night, which was just working up the muddy spots and groves of trees that we have removed. All right, new tractor, new implement to play with. I'm excited. Let's get to the field.
Well, it's Monday and we had Saturday and Sunday off due to some rain, so I think the bags have left the bottom of my eyes. We recharged. Everyone got some sleep except for Randy. I think he was battling some bathroom trouble. Don't think he ate something that was good, or I don't know, but everyone else is doing a little better. I'm out on some ground at Chet's here that we farmed a couple years now, but this is a field we did a ton of tiling in last fall after harvest, and took a cut up 3-field quarter and made it almost as square as possible. We still have to go around some groves and a farm site. Nothing tile was going to fix there though. So this is beautiful. It is bumpy and soft where the tile is and whatnot, but that'll go away with some more tillage in the fall and whatnot. But overall, just being able to do half-mile passes, I like it. So it's going to be corn on corn because that's what Chet desires, and we're doing 150 units of N each acre, so it's coming out quick. I think I'm gonna kind of beat the tender truck. He just took off for town, and while I'm waiting for him, we're going land rolling. As soon as this is empty, I got 8 tons. Well, you know, I did the math. They advertised this as an 8-ton box. We filled it to the absolute tippy top, absolute no more room. And I maybe could have shoveled and gotten a little more, but it was as full as you could go. And I went out and spread, and it came out to, I think I was 33 pounds under 8 tons. So 15,000 pounds and the rest of the numbers. And there's no way I would have gotten the tarp shut, the roll tarp deal. So yeah, 8 tons, it ain't 8 tons. Maybe of lead or something, but not of urea. So this whole bottom is what we pulled the tile on. You can maybe see the valley. That was a ditch. There was old tile in there, completely farmed over, lost, ruined, filled up. up some new plastic and close that ditch up, and that is what I mean that we can farm these mile-long rounds or half-mile passes. And there was some other wet spots and whatnot that we are now able to go through. So we did have to wait on this field. The reason it is one of the last ones is what we think was frost coming out of the hillsides. Because it is so rolly, the snow blew off. It didn't have that blanket of insulation, so the cold temperatures pushed the frost down a little further throughout the winter than the rest of the fields. We just needed a little more time this spring, some warmer weather to get that frost out, because it was just seeping water out of the hillside. So that is why it's one of the last fields. It's got nothing to do with the tile. The tile is definitely working. It's dry in places here that weren't even farmable last summer. So really turn the field around. Plus all that water, it is bumpy. I'm going over a tile line. All that water that does come across the field from the neighbors, just the way the land is sloped, and just the snow and rain, we're now able to pull that underground into the tile and save ourselves some erosion issues. Hopefully with time we'll be able to prevent that ditch that was there from ever reoccurring, just with a little less tillage in certain places. Trying to do this with one hand. Doing less tillage in that ditch area will stop it from eroding, because up till this point it gullied out there every summer, or every year I should say, and it wasn't even farmed. So we really turned this field around, and I'm happy, proud of that. But spreading corn on corn acres, it's always so bumpy, so we're going slow. We're going slow.
Realistic? My gosh. Only thing is, I'm not in the field. Look at this. That is so cool. We've reached our destination. I feel like we could widen that approach out a little bit. So Eric spread fertilizer on this morning, so it should be good to go. So I'm hoping, you remember, there we go, it's number 6. Whoever hooked this up didn't hook it up like we normally do. It's fine, it just confuses the operator. Keeps them on their toes. Alright, we are moving. Had some technical errors on learning the screen, but I figured out how to make an A-B line, so it's just confusing. Like I said, this is going to be my first hour of actually using this machine, actually the whole thing. So, as of now, looks like we're operating just perfectly. Feeling like I should get out and check, now that I'm not just like drying out wet spots and groves. I should maybe fine tune the depth. I don't want to be going like 5-6 inches deep. All we want is 2.5, max of 3. We don't want it to make it so soft out here. Seems like good a spot of any. Check it out. So corn ground itself, the implements just seem to sink in it deeper because we till it deeper in the fall. All right, just looking behind it, I've got all the pressure on the baskets, which I mean, you can't complain. Oh, look at the diggers are showing up. You can't complain about the seed bed here. Like, there's no root balls. It's cutting up trash, leftover trash. And let's see, where I really want to pay attention to is behind the tractor tracks too. All right, what I want to do is verify behind the tractor tracks that we're ripping up that lug, basically. Yep, we're right behind it. I don't see one. Do you? This is definitely the tractor track. So I feel good. We got at least 2 inches. I would say maybe 3.5. So we could take it out there. Out on the wings, I was adjusting on the pitch of those the other day. Yeah, we're plenty deep. Plenty deep. Should make sense because it seems to be pulling harder than I expected, but that's because I'm sinking the blades in way too deep. We don't want to be that deep. There's no need of it, let's just say that. But she's running perfectly level, so that's not an issue. That's good. We're gonna take this out of the ground some. Just looking at the blades here, we're a solid 3.5. And right behind the tractor tracks, they're still sinking in good amount. All right, we'll take it out just a tad. All right, I took it out 3 turns. I believe that's 3/4 of an inch. Well, I got tons more power now. This is where I like it. more check outside, but this is where I like it. It's pulling a lot better, doing a good job. So what do we got here? I'm in 13th gear, 1800 RPMs. It's about 10.7 miles per hour. So you can push the speed pretty good with these buggers. I'm gonna find it. This is an average working per hour. How do you run this? I don't know what good this would ever be used for, but that's the front camera on this tractor. It's kind of cool. I'm still looking for acres per hour, by the way. They've got it named something funny in here. I've got an average working acres per hour, but I've been messing around setting on it so much that it's lying to me. Oh, what button does what? You can't really see anything back there. It's so dusty. She's dry. This field's finally dry. So this was the field that we were having issues with frost coming out of these big rolling hills. I don't know if you can tell, but like there's some rolly terrain out here, and I think the snow actually blew off those hills, so the frost went deep, but it's come around. It's dry now, and we're making it drier. I had to calculate it. I don't know why Case don't have an instant, and maybe it's in here, I can't find it. I have an average acres per hour, which I'm up to 36, but I used the calculator, and calculated, I believe I'm at like 42 acres an hour. So if I would go 12, I would be up to 47 acres an hour. All right, I'm down in some of the heavier ground on this farm. Not that it's super heavy. I'm gonna do another depth check, just make sure we're where we like to be. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I'm gonna check once again, because it is wetter down in this corner here, behind the tractor tracks. Make sure we're busting up all that compaction. I don't have any ridges, so that's good. We got our 2 inches at least. All right, I think I can go and not look back. I do like, so when you dig this with a digger, it pulls up a lot of these. That makes it super rough for the planter when you're doing corn on corn, well, even soybeans too. So I do like that the baskets and the chopping of this machine is getting rid of a lot of these, like 95% of them. So smooth. It's like you've been out here with a tiller. Well, now that everything's set, sit back and let the sulfur do the work. Have a little lunch. It's like barbecue's on the menu. So I don't know if you guys remember when we had the dozer down here closing up a big washout after we had pulled the tile up there to eliminate erosion. As you can see, that has worked very, very good. And we are now farming this farm half-mile. Otherwise, these rows, as you can see, they've been tilled opposite here. Last fall, it was jagged up, let alone last year's conditions weren't the best to begin with for wetness in the field. But this is definitely very nice. Getting used to this joystick here is something. It's a nice setup. It just, everything's different. So, yeah, we're approaching here where it used to be like a 6-foot deep, 10-foot wide washout, and now it is just baby smooth. Drive right through it right here. I'm in what used to be the bottom of it, and it went down that direction. And it ran for, I don't know, I suppose 2/3 the way of this quarter. So 2/3 of a half a mile, whatever that would be. That would be math that I don't want to do. It's working up good. The diggers have pulled in and I've been messing around over here, and they're much larger than my implement here, so they've done half the field and I've done the other half. They just won't leave me alone to have some fun and actually get to drive something, but that's fine. The planter's sitting in the yard waiting for this field to get done, so we gotta get her done. So this is the grove site that we ripped down last summer on this field. I stopped because of that heavy thing. Look at this stuff. Now it's been worked a few times, but I think Grandma's been out here with her tiller. This should raise some good corn here. I hope so anyways. Looks like we got some debris we gotta pick up for years to come, but that's got staples in it. That wouldn't be good, probably. All right, I got other stuff I gotta go do at the farm. They got this about done. Actually, I think we're gonna land roll this whole field just for corn on corn. We'd like to have it more firm. Anyways, this is a side-by-side comparison between the field cultivator did this. This is the Salford 4200. So you can see the difference. I think it's a lot more chopped up here. Rolling baskets keep it a lot more level and firm versus just a ton more of these where the digger gets her done. So overall, I mean, this thing is a nice unit. If you're looking for versatility, fall it works amazing in. We're very happy with that. And spring you can use it. It does a good job. Mulching, cutting, leveling, heavy duty built. I like it, but unfortunately I cannot keep on going here. I got 10 other things I gotta do. So back to the farm I go. So I'm wrapping it up here, folding up, heading back to the farm. I'm not sure if I'm going to be the guy going out to land roll this or not. We're going to have to touch base with Eric. I wish I could keep going. It's having so much fun, but we're done. They're ringing the field and no more ground for me. I found another field and Eric's spreading. Look at him go. Haha, barely outrunning me. It's because he's fully loaded. But we're right by the farm. We're going to get a little bit more here. It's still weeping snow and water out of the grove, believe it or not, but it is. But we're going to get what we can in here, and it'll be what it'll be. Well, unloaded my rocks. It's time to go get Pac-Man. I'll show you what Pac-Man is. All right, here it is. It reminds me of Pac-Man. It's when you come up to a rock and this thing's swinging, and it grabs them and throws them in there. Let's go get some rocks. Oh, she's warm in here. So up until about 2017, I believe, this is what we use to pick all of our rocks. Then we upgraded to the skid loader with the rock bucket, which works really good too, but this one's nice to have around for different odds and ends jobs. This is what Grandpa was used to drive, but he's kind of retired physically from the farming side of stuff. So we just use it when needed. It does really good with big rocks. Found another pile. Let's steer our hitch here a little bit. There we go. Lower.
That really ain't that wide of an approach. And it made it. Doggo made it. Well, I'm out of fertilizer, so time to catch up to Brody. I'm right on top of you, Brody. Look out. He's got like 200 something acres done in this field. I don't think I'm gonna catch him. It's a half section, just shy, 312.
Got a guy a little closer.
I didn't know how the lines were gonna line up. The auto track, so I didn't want to risk it.
I know, I'm just giving you crap.
Typical at the farm. Yeah, so we're back up to 130 acres an hour. I think he plants about 60, I don't know, something like that. So I would catch him if I had enough time, but I'm just doing this till I get fertilizer. It's gonna be beautiful this week. Chance of rain in 4 days on Thursday, but not much of a chance, and it don't really matter what they say because they're never right anyways, the weathermen, and weather women. I don't want to rule anything out.
Next job on Chet's list, go burn up some floated up corn stalks. So I got my propane, my big blowtorch. We're gonna go up and we're gonna see if we can burn it. Last time I tried to do it, it was so wet underneath it just wouldn't work. But it's had some time to dry, so let's go see. Burning! Working pretty good. I put it in low range and put it in work mode. Just creeping right along. We'll see how well it burns, but at least it's lighting. I couldn't even get it to light the last time. Thing's got some serious burning power. Look at that. It's so hot you can't even see the flame. It's just blue. Well, it's working pretty good. Light and variable wind. So I lit this side and then the wind started going this way, so then I lit the other side and then I got smoked out because it went back that way. But it's doing something. Something's better than nothing, I guess. It's literally a foot thick, and I think it's just burning the top, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You gotta try something. So what's happened is this whole big bowl here is like 50 acres. I got a lot to do down there too. And it just fills up in the spring. We're in a big rain event. It is tiled, but it just, all the corn stalks float to the top. Then the wind blows them to the edge, and then the water subsides and leaves all a big pile of junk that you gotta get rid of, and it don't dry out underneath there. That's how you've seen me get the quad track almost stuck in a couple videos ago. Yeah, that's why. I was driving over this 1.5 foot stuff and it's just mushy, wet ground underneath it. So that's the other reason we're trying to get rid of it, to dry these spots out. Tell you what, where you want it to burn, it just won't burn, and where you don't want it to burn, it just takes off like wildfire. It's a wildfire! Soot's coming in. Oh god. I gotta extinguish! It's not out of control. I just don't want it out in the field here. This is planted, so I want to keep it controlled as much as possible here. So you bring out your fancy pitchfork from when we raised hogs years ago, and then you just kind of drag it backwards. It works better with 2 hands. Drag it into where you it's already burnt so it don't continue going. Seems pretty self-explanatory, but I've seen people do it the other way. Start hitting it both ways, and pretty soon it's way over by the 4-wheeler thing there, and then you got a bigger issue. Okay, I got smoke in my eye. That feels good. I'm about done with this, and I'm glad. I've went through a whole propane tank. I've done 1/2 section, and I'm working on another one. This one ain't nearly as bad though. I'm almost done. I'm just putting out any loose ends and watching, make sure nothing gets out of control. This isn't hard work. I should have brought a sprayer with some water in it. I didn't think I was gonna get this in depth. Well, I'm done burning. I showed up to the farm and Dad's getting this massive 1.5 acre field planted. So I think what we're gonna do this year, since this is such a pain to spray and really everything, it's just so small right here by the bends, that he's gonna plant right across the driveway and just turn it off as he's coming across. I think, is the goal.